How about my dearest YouTube friends? Today we are in a new video, friends. The Wheel of Destiny has already come out, the new mission that Kaban has brought us, and which has a great difficulty because you have to have a fairly strong and quite large 7-star roster. And in this case, I bring you the definitive guide on how to do these fights, how to do the fight, and which are the best characters by the labels of both Path 1 and 2, all in one video. I hope it's not that long, okay? I'm also going to teach you here, surely to my right. It's worth the screen of my fight against that defender when we are talking about this defender. Then friends, I also have to tell you that signings are now open. We have quite a few clients already on the waiting list. But if you want to join, you simply have my WhatsApp in the description and we do it at a super small price. Super cheap compared to other mercenaries, so I recommend you go to the description WhatsApp so you can have my WhatsApp and check the price. So let's start, friends, for Gore. Friends, Gore is a character. The first one we have, in fact, you are already seeing the fight here, that basically the nodes he has are immunity, bleeding, taking advantage, stubborn charge, dead of fear, passive, and countdown for blocking. Special how it is done in the fight. Well, you are already seeing that we have to do it with champions who cancel or avoid their regeneration or who remove their improvements in general, especially due to the undermining improvement, which is the one that is going to be bothering us a lot. Apart from that, you have to be careful with the routing of the timer that you are already seeing from the life below the life of Conde Nefaria that is basically updated with our taps. And I also recommend that you know how to avoid Gore's super attack too well, since every 4 super attacks that Gore throws at us, as you are seeing right now on the screen, is going to throw us a super attack 2 mandatory. Therefore, if this Gore were to block us, we could have a very bad time. Okay? It's a pretty simple fight as long as you wear the Gunther indicated to avoid its regeneration node and above all prevent it from hitting you in blockade. Therefore, I recommend that you avoid stops. Now let's go with the paths, friends. The paths, some basically you are already seeing that the best counterparts with Benefaria and the leader, and also if Hudesl is the leader. In the end, it comes quite well because it takes away your regeneration, and if Huldeldes also comes quite well for you because of the strength it has, but above all, Condenefaria. Condenefaria is the best for this path with label 2. 1024. Then friends, for path number 2, we have the labels of my special defense, and basically as I told you, the special YM defense, we are going to be doing it with Wong, which is with the path with which I have done it, and we also have the very powerful Evonimau, which we can also be doing it with him. And finally, path number 3 forces us to do it with the label belonging to Malnola's 2014. And here it can simply be done with Yuger. Now it is the best to give this Gore, but nevertheless Scarlet Witch or the G may also be of great use to us in the fight, since we will be able to eliminate the improvements that this Gore generates, especially against that regeneration and all that. So for me, path 1 with Nefaria, path 2-1 and path number 3 is not worth playing. That would be nodes against Gore, paths and content. We're going to get Dazzler, friends. We go, friends, against Daffler, the second character. The nodes you have elegant 1-power generator, suppressor bomber from the outside, and flexibility. You are already seeing that I have been doing part 1 with America Chavez. As you are seeing, and basically what you have to do and take into account how to fight against this Daffler, you have to always stay close to Daffler to avoid that routing icon that you are going to see under America Chavez, that as soon as it does not come out. Let's just have a few seconds because otherwise we're going to be routing. So we have to be very careful with that, okay? Then you also have to be intercepting to remove the dynamo loads so that you can be obtaining this Daphne to prevent it from generating a copy of power and reaching the power bars more simply. It's actually a pretty easy fight. The only thing to take into account is that routing, which is the only thing that may be bothering us. As you are already seeing America Chaden right now, what has happened to us has routed us. And well, the counters are already seeing that on path number 1. America Chavez is the one that I have been choosing, okay? But Penny Parker is also a great option. I haven't said it, but you have to do it with the label 2021 America Chavez. I'm already seeing that it's doing quite well for me. And the other is Odin. Odin is another quite powerful character that we will be able to carry out this mission. Then friends, also on path number 2, the labels of S mass. Special defense are not asked for, and in this case I have to tell you that I have done it with Dust and that it has turned out much better than against America Chavez than with America Chavez, better said. Although Spider-Man Start may also be working for us, since Esperman Start also works for interception issues, which I have already done with several clients. And finally, friends, path number 3 asks us to do it with a character with the lie label with the Tank Fensa label. In this case, I have to tell you that I have been doing it with Snake. I have done it quite well also in this way. You avoid failure when it goes forward with the super attacks by putting that precise concentration that characterizes Snake, and it also works a lot for us here. Gladiator, who is also a pretty versatile character. For this butler, we are going for the next one, which is Lady the Strike, which for me is one of the most complicated we have on this Wheel of Destiny. Okay, folks, you're already seeing the fight against Strike's Lady. The nodes this character has are Adaptable Power Shield, Footwork, Hard Life, and Stalking. Okay, how do we have to be performing this fight against Lady of Strike that you are already seeing that way? One, I did it with Nova. You have to slide back when the timer runs out. What do you see underneath Nova? It's going to end because if it's not going to take away everything from us, but absolutely all the power and this fight, we can only do damage through super attacks because you are already seeing that through the blows, we are not doing almost any damage to our friend Lady Strike. Therefore, when that icon you're seeing of power accumulation under Nova's life is going to end, we have to be sliding backwards or directly throwing a super attack so that it doesn't take away our power. Besides, we are also going to be gaining power bar we get about 3 seconds of block to powers as you are already seeing. Therefore, you have to time it quite simply with what you are seeing the timer from before, because otherwise it may be taking away all our power, and in the end it will be taking away all the source of damage that our character is going to do. So friends, as you can see, path number 1 is done with the label of Hashara My Metal label, and basically I have done it with Nova and it comes out very easy with it. However, if you don't have that he hasn't uploaded something like that, you can use the infamous Iron Man, especially because we are going to be leaving disadvantages to everything. The taxi is going to be able to serve us, Red School is also going to be serving us, and Vox. But friends, I think you should leave bots for later on that path. Number 1. In path number 2, they ask us to do it with a character who has that label and massive damage label, massive damage attack. And in this case, the best counter that I have found and with which I have done it has been Medusa and also quite good Gamora. The only thing you have to be upgrading those hard hits to upgrade to get the upgrades and upgrade Gamora's upgrades. And finally, path number 3 asks us to do it with a tag. L, more direct damage attack. In this case, I have done it. Done with Null, but I have also done it with Gladiator in some clients. So in Liter State, it can be confused and can be a complicated character, especially because of those power bars. Now we are going for the next character who is Enchanting. You are already seeing the very powerful Enchantress is a very colorful defensive character, and in this case she has Matador nodes. Super attacks are invocal, therefore you are going to have to know how to avoid them as you are already seeing on the screen, and it also has the take your medicine node. How do we have to be doing the fight? First of all, it is recommended to know how to eliminate enchanter spells because otherwise it is going to be a real headache for this character, and above all, you have to know how to avoid super attacks since they are going to be blockable, and if they can't be doing us enough damage apart, we have the node that we earn a power bar every time you enchant it has been a super attack if it is not the only way to be able to get that power. Therefore, we have to force him to give us super attack and know how to avoid it perfectly, because if we are not going to be eating many blows apart, we have to avoid stops since they will put us at a tranquilizer disadvantage. In this case, you are already seeing how in path number 1 we are doing it with psychic shielding. Okay, and we are doing it with the very powerful Onslow, who for me is the best character to give this Enchantress because of the ability she has to hit her hard to eliminate the spells she has, also the hard hit to throw her, and also the interception, okay? And also hit her when she's going to throw the hard hit at you, but Silver, Saver, and Dust may also be serving us, okay? They are quite good against her as well. In this case, on path number 2, he asks us to do it with the Avengers and for it to be a character. Masculine, that is a man, and in this case I have been doing it with Classic Hulk, which has turned out quite well for me, although Quicksilver can also be a great option, and Captain America Infinity War if you have it 7 stars, because let's remember that it is a somewhat exclusive character. You could also be doing it with him. Then on path number 3, we have to do it with the labels of powerful Avengers, as you are seeing over here, and in this case here the queen is Photon. Okay, Photon is the most important character. And it may also be useful to us if Hulk, now we do go to the next character, which in this case is Thor Ragnarok. And well, the nodes that this character has are impact preparation, loud interruption, combo on the rise, think of 2, the stop and powerful. Okay, how are we going to have to be making this stop that you are already seeing that on path 1? I am doing it with Chelit. Basically, you have to force Thor to throw the hard punch, and when he is in the hard punch animation, you have to interrupt him. Well, you have to give it a go to interrupt that blow to be able to deactivate that icon, so to speak, of the blue unstoppable that Thor Ragnarok has, so that we can be applying base to it. A lot of damage is okay, it's easy, but the only thing to keep in mind, you are also seeing how Thor Ragnar's combos are rising dramatically, and also remember that collection that Thor Ragnar has when you reach 40 hits on, or when we reach 40 hits. So be very careful with that, because it may be developing to a large extent, and it may be bothering us, because if not be careful, you have to be deactivating it, because if it can't do that automatic lock for us, okay, in this case you are already seeing that. In path number 1, Chelit stands out above all with him because they ask us to do it with the 10-year challenge tag like the one we had in Karina's Necro. And the next character I got, which is quite simple, is Adam Warlock, and also the last one. But above all, if you have Chelit here, is the queen who commands against this Thor Ragnarok. Okay, then friends on path number 2 force us to do it with label 10 2 Hero 1 6, in this case Hyperion. For me, it is the best code to give you, since the hard blow we may be giving him doesn't require that much space. Crossmon may be serving us pretty well too. And finally, Cyclops Blue Team on path number 3, in which they ask us for the 2017 labels. And in this case, I have found the best counter in Medusa that is the best to burst these Toragnados, also the same. I say the same thing because apart from making automatic blocks, you can get a strong blow and it is easier. Although Spider Start friends, I also have to tell you that I have done it in a couple of very good and exquisite clients with this character. So well, Thorax Narok may be complicated for us if you don't manage to throw the hard blow to hit him, to remove the animation and remove that unstoppable icon, and above all, without taking into account that accumulation of power that Thorax Narok has. We are leaving now, yes. Let's go for another very feared character like Arcade. Okay friends, we already have it. We are with Arcade. The nodes they have are hard hands, immunity to stun, he can make the stop, and he has a free spirit. 3. How do we have to be doing the fight? Well, basically you have to avoid making several strong blows in a row, since it will put us at the disadvantage of faltering. Although if you are using box on path number 1, as is my case, throwing a super attack 2, you avoid that faltering, but I recommend that you do not abuse. Those strong blows are worth it. Apart from that, our friend Arcade is immune to stunning and care that may be stopping us. Therefore, if you have a character that cannot find some way to evade that automatic block, it will be stopping us. So we're gonna be suffering a lot in that fight, okay? So you are already seeing the counters that I have put on path number 1. You have to be doing it with a villain with the label also of prolonged damage. And for me, the best is Sores, as you are already seeing above all. Due to the importance that super attack 1 has with that undermining to avoid the automatic blocking of the character, then also which character may be serving us very well screen as well, because apart from that, it also has our automatic blocking and they also have a way of mocking it. And finally, Satra, that yes, it may be bothering us a little in the fight. Then in path number 2, you have to do it with Tagli massive damage attack, and in this case, you have to be doing it with Snake, which for me is the best due to that accurate concentration. what it has, and with that super attack 1 with to avoid that automatic blocking of arcade beta raining can serve us very well. And Odin is also valid in this case in path number 3. You have to do what the label side direct damage attack with Silk is the best quote to give to the character, although here we are going to be suffering a lot. But friends, I have also done it with Captain Marvel movie, and I also highly recommend using this character for this arcade. Let's get the leader, folks. Friends, we go head to head with the leader. You are already seeing the nodes that are close encounters, improved stop with 50% power, that if we stop they give us a copy of stunned power, high there and without regeneration mastery. Basically, how do we have to be doing the fight? Well, we have to stay close to the leader to avoid degenerating and avoid throwing weak blows so that they don't petrify us. You are already seeing the node that when we are close to this leader, we are going to be regenerated. But if we walk away, it's going to put us in that pain. Therefore, we must avoid withdrawing weak blows so that they will petrify us and take away at least that small regeneration and not reverse it. And apart from that, we must also avoid hitting him in his block because they will also be leaving us with shock disadvantages. You are already seeing that in path number 1. I have been doing it with our very powerful Black Cat, but Mantis and Suri may also be serving us. Okay, on path number 2, they ask us to do it with the label Thunderbolt, and for me the best character to give this leader is Photon, then followed by Red Guardian, Luke Cage, and finally Bullset, and on path number 3 with the 2018 label. For me, the best is Red Skull, but Domino is not left behind either, and in reality Leader is a character that comes out very simple and does not have complicated nodes. We simply have to be close to the defender, try to hit as much as possible and avoid weak blows so that they don't give us those petrification disadvantages. It's the only thing we have to have in account. We are going friends to get a bag and another defensive character who is quite feared. We leave friends with a bag and a rather complicated character that may be making it difficult for us on this wheel of fate. The nodes you have is Purified Slate, Inflexible Axiom, and Knee Arrow. And basically, how do we have to be performing the fight? The fight is the game mode. Basically, it is stop and hit hard. As you can see with Mr. Sinister, you must also interrupt the strong attack of our bullset, similar to what we had with all of Ragnarok. But in this case, it is not to deactivate anything. It is so that that improvement in cruelty happens to us, and that way we are going to do much more damage. Besides, I recommend hitting him quickly after his strong blows, which is where the most space is created, so to speak. In this case, you are already seeing that Mr. Sinister is the best character to give him a path number 1 in this path because they ask us for label 2. 2019, and if you don't have to bring a character who is immune, hemorrhage, because if you can't be literally bursting into blockade, or therefore you have to bring warlock. Okay, on path number 2 they ask us for a character who has the labels Mixmen, and for me the best character is Dadler, although Cyclops Blue Team is another character who works very well, who leaves nothing behind, and above all it works well for us because of that precise concentration he has to avoid the illusion of Bullseye and Samspot in already in. Smaller measure can also serve us very well on path number 3. In this case, we have the 2025 label, which this label may be bothering us a lot, especially because we are talking about 2025 characters that have just been released. Therefore, the pool is too small, and in this case, if you are lucky and you have had Jean Grey, you have the best character to be able to give this bull. If you are not going to be suffering a little because Bastion is the next character, let's remember that he is immune, bleeding, therefore it is not going to work for you, then to a lesser extent, or Cole. And finally, Gentle Veil, those are the best characters for Bull Saint's path number 3. He's a character. Let's remember that it is going to affect morale a lot, but simply with stops and strong blows, and basically trying to interrupt the blow. Bullside's a strong blow, you are going to be able to gain that security improvement, and it is going to be quite simple for you. So yeah, we're going for Human Torch. Come on, friends, with Torch, a rather complicated character. In fact, he is the only one who has made me spend Resurrectors, and basically the node tells us that he is immune to bleeding, spontaneous combustion, adaptive replacement, protective dawn, which is what we are most is bothering us in the fight. Change skin and disadvantage to defend, basically how you should be doing the fight. You are already seeing that the Human Torch is activating a little symbol of protection. Therefore, you have to basically eliminate that protection as soon as you are fine. If we don't get 1M, 1H, and 1S, the H means we have to throw a super attack to eliminate it. The strong blow with the HY, with the M, a medium blow when the 3 are deactivated, as is going to be happening right now. Well, that protection will be removed. Apart from that, we have to be knocking it down so that our damage becomes energetic to be able to do damage to this Human Torch. And we also have to put 3 or more disadvantages so that we become immune to the disadvantages that the Human Torch is leaving us, because otherwise it will be doing to us a lot through the disadvantages of hospitalization, as you are already seeing how that immunity in the damage over time activates us a complicated character. This is worth it for me, an Anthroxomaniac. It has been a thorn that it has been difficult for me to give him. Okay, so in path number 1, you are already seeing I am going to be able to go back the video a little so that you can continue watching the Anthroxoman himself in path 1. You have to do it with Heroes of the Spider-Verse. And in this case, I have been doing it with Silk, but I already noticed in the clients that the best to give was to Spider-Jan, and Spider-Woman is not far behind, so Perfection also works on path number 2. They ask us for it with the Gamma label, and basically with the classic Hulk it is done perfectly. Then also to a lesser extent if the Hulk of the LED, and finally we have Red Fool who shines here because those incinerations leave us. Therefore Red Fool is greatly enhanced. And finally on path number 3 you have to do it with the 2015 labels, and here our friend shines a lot. Deadpool Export and Iron Man Superior, we are going for Serpent, which is another character that is also annoying a little, but with the indicated counter it comes out perfectly. Okay friends, let's go with Snake. That basically the notes he has is long distance eternity, don't hit me, and redlining 2. Okay, how do we have to be doing the fight? Well, basically, unlike how you would normally fight Snake, when he throws the super attacks, we have to be close to Snake so that his improvements pause and don't affect us. It is unlockable. Okay, in this case, I didn't know it with Weekend. It was the first time I gave it, but we have to maintain that. Okay, apart from that, we have to avoid reaching 75% power with our Weekend because it will take away all the power we have. So be very careful. It is important here with a snake to avoid doing good. You have to master its disadvantages. In this case, Weekend is a good character, but above all, here friends on path number 1 who ask us for the Emmy label, prolonged damage attack, spiral should command. In this case, you already know that. 40 spiral. I don't have it, so I have had to pull the variant that is Weekend. Weekend is a very good character to give it, but I consider that even Kindred could also be working against this snake. En el camino número 2, amigos, tenemos las etiquetas de M y ataque en dano masivo, y para mí el mejor personaje y con el que lo he hecho ha sido América Chávez, y en algunos casos de algunos clientes que no tenían América Chávez. I have done it with Longshot, and I can also tell you that it comes out very very well due to the amount of improvements that Snakes usually generates. And finally, path number 3 that the 2023 labels ask us to do, because here we have accused it of the best to be able to give and take away those advantages that Snake has. And Kindred is also going to be working very well for us, as I said before on path number 1. So well, Serpiente is a somewhat fearsome character, but due to the, so to speak, notes that have been placed on him, he helps us a lot in doing this fight and not losing so much life through his unblockable super attacks, if that concentration, etc. So well, we are going for Spiral friends because we are already against Spiral the notes that you have deja vu of unblockable combat stubborn load, nor does it stretch in Spiral and Arrogance. Okay, how do we have to be performing the fight? Well, you have to avoid performing the same attack twice because you will gain an unlockable improvement. In this case, you are seeing the fight. Tell them that this case for me is the best. The best. Path 1, because with the hard blow we leave that disadvantage of fear of emptiness, I think it is called, and in this case, well, forgiveness is called fear, or rather we are going to avoid it being unlockable, okay? But once you generate several basic blows in a row or any equal blows in a row, it will become unlockable as you have seen on the screen, okay? Apart from that, you are also seeing that every 15 blows that in our combo meter we have, it is going to give us a passive effect of faltering. Therefore we are going to have to be fighting against that faltering. And apart from that, The first stop is without a stunning as you have seen. Now it enters cooling and therefore we could already be there making the stop if not friends. Here you have to be practicing. Do the double stop if you really want to stun spiral. In this case on path number 1 you are already seeing it. How does it shine? Yes, full deadless, but Professor X also shines who has been. Using it, I still don't like the character, but in this case, I have to tell you that it works very well, and you have to do it with the cancel control label. On path number 2, you have to do it with a mercenary, which is me. So I'm telling you, if you want this mission, you have it on WhatsApp. In the description, you have to do it with a mercenary tag, and in this case, we have Lucrit, who for me is the best character to give him this spiral. Because we have Domino class upgrade, he is another character that can work very well for us. Massacre and Hit Monkey for me, those are the best counters against this spiral. And finally, on path number 3, we have the Wakand label that in this case or lame totally shines. I hope you have it to give it to him, but don't worry because you also have Suri and you have the Black Panther Civil War that can totally have the effect against this spiral. A simple character that the only thing to take into account is that the unlockable, because he can throw those super attacks at us in the unlockable and he can be bothering us a lot. We're not going to go after him, friends. The last character before arriving in Thanos del Les is the very powerful Dust. We arrive friends against Dust, a defensive character who may be bothering us a lot. The nodes you have are Diagonal Armor, Defensive Shell, Equal Punishment, and I know like water. How do we have to be carrying out the PDLA? Well, basically you have to be super aggressive to prevent our friend Dust from winning armor loads, since with them you will have a certain patage for each armor to deflect all your attacks. Then unless you have a character who also targets demolition, you won't be able to hurt him if he has a lot of robustness, so you have to be excessively aggressive. Apart from this, you must avoid stopping the defender, and above all, you must also avoid leaving non-harmful disadvantages, since DAS will become unlockable, and you are seeing that in path number 1, you have to do it with the Psi Metal labels. And for me, the best character is Ironger, as you're seeing on screen, because literally with those incineration disadvantages, he literally merges into Dust and Gyo. It has 2099, it can work very well for us, and Omega Sentinel also perfectly, but above all, Ironheart is worth it. On path number 2, they ask us for the X-Men labels, and the best fight against Dust is Dust itself that I have been doing with her. And we also have the very powerful Domino that can serve us, and Jim Gray if you have managed to obtain it in the and such is fine. And finally, friends, in path number 3, you have to do it with the L label plus prolonged damage attack. There I was restarting, okay, because I didn't like the fight. And I did it again. It happens to me that I record this, okay, and then you have to do it with label Lee attack, prolonged damage. Basically, you have to do it with Purgatory, which for me is the best character to give Estadus due to the amount of degeneration that the character leaves. But a good option is also Ring Trap, okay? And now, yes, friends, let's go get the head of the mission, the very powerful Thanos Deles. And friends, we are already with Thanos Deles, the head of both of the 3 paths. Okay, he has the unblockable super attack nodes that we are going to be bothering a lot. Combat Deja Vu, Weakness, and he also has the reversed controls node from Lysa to the left and to the other left, which is basically how to do the fight. As you are already seeing, it is not under Sunspot's life in this case, which is how I did it with the super attack. Sorry, with path number 1, those inverted controls are going to be deactivated and activated every 8 seconds. Therefore, you are going to have to be controlling those inverted controls well to prevent this Thanos from hitting us. As always, you have to force him to throw super attack 1, and above all, you have to take into account. And if you can time it well that he throws that super attack 1, just when the inverted controls are deactivated to be able to avoid the super attack well. If you're not going to have to learn it the hard way to avoid it with the over attack. With the amount invested, apart from that, we have to avoid making the same attack twice in a row since it will put us at weakness disadvantages, therefore it will lower our fight rate. And apart from that, as I said about Thanos, the super attacks are unblockable, so friends on the road, number 1, the best characters to give him. I already realized that it was Deadpool X Ford with quite a few clients. Jean Grey also works very well, but it is very exclusive because it is immune to inverted quads. Sam Spot, as you are seeing on the screen, and Domino also works very well for us. Finally, on path 2, Guardians of the Galaxy works well for us, okay? It's the labels, and in this case, the only one I've found that works very well is Petara. Anvil, and Gamora. And finally, on path number 3, they ask us to be dimensional as well as the Necro cabins, and in this case, Satra. It is one of the best, or Usala and America Chavez can also serve us. So friends, in this way, we would already have everything that has been the analysis of the Wheel of Destiny. This Excel reminds you that it is in the description in the PR list, okay? In a new tab like you are seeing down here, Fate Rolls, you also have Prestige and you have the list per tier. If you want to stop by, it's available to everyone. Then friends, in this way, we have analyzed the 3 paths in the same video. If I tell you again, if you want help with this Wheel of Fate, you have my WhatsApp in the description and I do it at a pretty low price. So friends, now I do say goodbye. I hope you liked the subject style video and see you.